That would have to be a segment of you having interesting and insightful things to say and then me just making fun of you.
Wait.
So very, very different than the rest of the show.
2 words. 2 words. Kwame Brown.
Can we talk about the fact that his spoonerism is Blame Crown?
Brame Crown?
Blame Crown.
What is he the king of then?
I don't know. Where's your crown, king? Nothing.
Is he like king of the bus then?
I know all the bad Metallica, y'all. Hi everyone. This is the show. I've already forgotten the title of this show. What did we decide the title of the show was? It's the Dan
versus D.
It's the Dan versus D podcast. We are specifically not calling ourselves DVD anymore because there is already a DVD weekly podcast on iTunes, and we don't want to step on any toes here. Elbow any kidneys, as it were.
Do our shooting motion that ends up smacking somebody in the face.
We don't want to do what Kobe Bryant claimed was his shooting motion, which is just snapping your wrist and then literally clocking someone next to you.
Still love you, Kobe.
We don't want to do that.
Still love you, Kobe. But
so what's up, guys?
we're still going to go informally by DVD because I love saying this. Welcome to the Dan versus D show. I'm your host, D with 2 E's. This is D versus D, aka DVD, as in DVD player. I'm your player. D with 2 E's.
I'm Dan.
With the A-N.
My name is Dan. I have an A-N in my name.
I just realized like I was redundant with my D with 2 E's, but oh well.
My name is an anagram for and. Or Nad.
Very, very eloquent of you.
My name is an anagram for Nad.
Mine
Nad.
is an anagram for Yasak.
Yasak.
Yasak. Yasak.
I punched you in your sack.
I'm
Oh,
Kacey. I'm the girlfriend of D with 2 E's, and I'm here as a guest today.
And that's actually the origin story of where I got my nickname D with 2 E's from.
That was me.
Yeah.
With 2 E's.
Because people would call me D, and then like in little love notes, she would write D and like put like 2 cute little E's like next to them. I was like, huh, kind of like that. And I started using nickname for like video games and now for this podcast. So there you go. You can thank Kacey, the beautiful Kacey, for that. So yeah, here we go. Dude, I clap without clipping the mic. Cool.
You guys are so sweet that my cold, depressed, cynical heart warmed by a couple of degrees.
All right, Dan and D. What are we going to talk about today?
Okay.
She's kind of like a moderator too. So
Bring you back on track.
I think part of the reason we wanted to have Kacey on with us today is we were brainstorming before the show, and
that went out pretty well.
we've already recorded a lot of brainstorming today. I think maybe this taping the pre-show meeting thing was not the best of ideas.
I loved it, honestly. I thought it was genius.
But anyway,
Got some quality stuff.
And I've been wanting to do this for a while with various people we know. A very general sort of like story time of what is your first sports memory? What is your most strong sports memory? How did you get into sports? Mm-hmm. What about it hooked you as a youngin' or as an adult? So I think we should toss it over to Kacey.
Sure. So, as a kid, I did not play sports, although my brothers did. If you want to count dance as a sport, then yes, it is. I danced, had several dance classes, but it was my 2 brothers, my older brother and my younger brother, who played Little League. I have some of my earliest childhood memories at the Little League park, and I think there are a few specific moments where I realized sports is something I could at least start paying attention to, if not necessarily follow all the way. One of the earliest memories I have is walking into this tiny little league park in Nashville on Lebanon Road, off of Lebanon Road, and it had white gates, and the grass was always green and well trimmed. They had multiple parks, or multiple fields, I guess, maybe 6 or 7 of them. We would walk to the concession stands and figure out where our field was going to be for the day. My brothers would play, and we always had a third inning snack. So we'd go to the concession stands and we'd get lollipops or we'd get nachos.
Not in the 7th inning though?
No, third inning. Third inning was always snack time.
So you would stop for a snack 1/3 of the way through the game.
We were very hungry children.
You would come back and play 6 innings after that?
Uh-huh. It allowed us to get energy, to run around and play, and then fall asleep by the end of the evening.
I guess food is fuel.
Yes, food is fuel.
Wait, y'all ate while y'all played the game?
Oh, not me. I mean, we ate in the stands. My brothers played and they had food beforehand, I think. And there was always, depending on how long the game went, there was always an after game meeting where one of the parents would always bring food. And this is something that's very important to my life, as Denise knows. We would always have these things called dough dodgers. And if you make a pie and you have leftover crust, you take the pie crust, you layer butter, cinnamon, sugar, cinnamon, sugar, cinnamon, sugar. You roll it up, spread butter on top of that roll, cut it into slices, and bake it for about 30 to 45 minutes. They're called dough dodgers because of the team Dodgers. They were brought into the Little League team. And they're basically cinnamon rolls made from pie crust. It's a very famous recipe in my family. And between all these things, the smell of the cigarette smoke, the metal bleachers, the chink of the aluminum baseball bats, you could always hear the chink all over the park. The smell of the mown grass, all of that brings me back to what I am interested in now. And I have a wide variety of sports interests. My dad grew up on stock car racing. From his dad way back when it was on dirt roads. So I follow NASCAR. Denise has introduced me to wrestling, so I know who at least some of the big name wrestlers are.
John Cena!
Anyway.
Sorry.
I liked Carmen when she was around. And,
she's still around. Awesome calling.
Oh, that's true.
Still wrestling around, just not in WWE, I guess.
I follow baseball because of the Red Sox. I lived in Boston for a year. I have now started following this wacky sport my dad follows, which is this like super expensive tech-related fancy yacht sailing, which isn't actual yachts. It's
I thought you were going to say Robot Wars where they like fight each other.
I've seen the drone racing. There's all kinds of stuff to get into.
Have you seen the air drone racing on ESPN now?
Yes,
they've been showing that like last couple of years.
Listeners, you have got to get into something. Find whatever your passion is and just start following it. There's all kinds of things to follow. So someone who is clearly not geeky about this in the same way these two guys are, I can still at least pay attention to some of the big names. Pedroia, Brady. When I was a kid, Air McNair was a big deal.
Eddie George.
I was around when Music City Miracle was a thing. The story basically goes, it's the Little League stuff that happened for my brothers that got me really into this kind of thing. And while I'm terrible with names, I have seen some of the big moments. So when the Tennessee Titans ended up going to the Super Bowl, unfortunately when Dale Earnhardt Sr. passed away. The Patriots Super Bowls, the Boston Red Sox wins in 2004, 2008, and I was in Boston when they won in 2013.
That's 2013.
2013. Yeah. And I got to see the parade from downtown when the Episcopal Diocese of Massachusetts was having its convention, and I watched the parade downtown.
Wish I could have been there.
So it's just really cool.
Dale Earnhardt, did you watch that live when it happened?
Yes. Yes. So here's my story about that is very simple. I was a young kid. My dad was really big into joking around and saying, "Oh, I don't like that driver. Hex, hex." And so he and I had made jokes about that during the race. So he wasn't a huge fan of the Earnhardts. As a general rule, they won too much, blah, blah. He wanted underdogs to win. So I said, "Hex on Dale Sr., hex on Dale Sr." And then, of course, that was right before the lap where he had the accident. And I was convinced for an unreasonable length of time that I had killed him. Just in the belief that small children have when they think they don't understand correlation between cause and effect.
And that was a big that was a big deal, especially because near my hometown is Welcome, North Carolina. That's where the racing museum, Richard Children Racing.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were I think for like a week they were like showing like stuff about like Earnhardt, and they were showing like the memorial service on TV, like on local television. So it was a big deal. And I remember like it used to be like this one like well, I guess it's like a two-way tunnel, but it's like really close, so you gotta like make sure you're on your side while someone else is coming the other side. But I just forget like I guess on the edge of this tunnel before you go through it, it said number 3, we will miss you.
Yep, and that's still the case. I think they're just now bringing 3 out of retirement.
That's got to be like, people don't really remember it much now, but that's got to be one of the most bonkers sports stories of our lifetime.
I didn't know a thing about racing, but all I know was that was like one of the biggest deals in NASCAR history.
He's the reason why NASCAR safety is such a priority. Unfortunately, it's also one of the reasons why NASCAR itself, not necessarily Formula One or Indy, but NASCAR itself as a franchise is dying. And they have to come up with other ways to make the sport either more exciting or more dangerous in such a way that the drivers aren't injured because no one's following it anymore.
Make it more dangerous?
They have to introduce some sort of exciting element to it, and they're finding
there's cars going like 180 plus miles an hour. What's more exciting than that?
They're going in a circle, and the joke that's been floating around the South for a long time is that people just go get drunk and watch the races, but there's so many ways to see the races now. They're not making money at the parks.
I feel like of like all the major sport, that's got to be the hardest one to attract casual fans to, because
it is.
But I remember hearing people.
You can't score points in the same way, and the tracking system that they've changed to is a lot like hot air balloon racing, but it's kind of convoluted, and unless you have someone really walking you through it, you don't get it.
And I mean, there's a lot of just crazy subtlety to it, but if you don't understand any of the subtlety, or you're not interested in that, if you're not a nerd.
And I'm a little bit of a nerd when it comes to it. The steepness of the bank matters. How hot the track gets matters. Whether or not there's been weather the day before matters. How much each team has been working on their car matters. How many pit crew members they have matters. Who's in charge of the pit crew matters. Their spotters are incredibly important. Wow. And if their spotter's having a bad day, they're going to have a bad race. How many accidents they've had in the past with the current car that they're using makes a difference. There's all kinds of tiny, tiny little variables that make up a huge, huge part of racing that most of the time fans don't see when they're sitting on the track.
Wow! Like, and the only thing I understood like that I only took the time to understand was like, and I quote Ricky Bobby from that movie: "If you're not first, you're last."
That's essentially the case. The first place winner gets pretty much all of the prize money, and the second and third points they get points. But the point system doesn't matter when you're not winning races at all.
But they don't get no money when coming in second and third?
I don't know for sure.
They have the playoffs too, right?
Playoffs?
They have
the chase for the cup.
They have a chase for the cup, but that's
even
also
then they watered that
They've
down.
Changed that. They have watered that down as well. So they're reducing races. They're changing the score system. They have changed the way the cup is raced for.
Do people even understand the system anymore?
No, they do not. That's part of the problem. The easiest thing to follow when you're watching a race at this point is who is in first, who is in second, who is in 10th, who is never going to finish the race.
I like that they have sticky tires.
They do. Tires are so important. They wear out
sticky
so
tires.
fast.
The tires are literally like sticky. They're like tacky to the touch, and it's to grip the track better.
Is it like the sticky like the ShamWow guy just like zipping all that stuff and just sticked it to the wall?
That's basically what the
I'm just picturing someone just rolling a tire as like a lint roller on the carpet and then sticking it to the wall.
The drivers also lose weight while they're driving. They can lose up to like 10 pounds just in sweat alone while they're driving. So it's a pretty brutal sport on the person. And they use almost every part of their body to drive. So a lot of that's automated now. A lot of it is they can't move their head left and right because of the neck safety features they've created. So that's why their spotters are so important. Now, I know this is completely off track and we should probably move to another segment, but I just should bring that up.
Sorry.
Dude, that was dope.
Yeah, NASCAR...
Kacey knows her shit.
and auto racing are really fascinating sports. Indy racing is fun to watch.
I saw the
frames
Indy for the first time.
They're so lightweight. They're so movable.
And
they're just so agile.
And they just disintegrate when they
completely fall apart. Oh my god! That's that's why one of the reasons why it's more exciting to watch Indy. But then you get into like Formula One racing, which is European, and that's even more interesting because of the tracks that they have, which are more than just one left-hand turn.
Dude, the Indy 500, man, like I just that was just really awesome. Just me being able. That was like I saw like a race once in like Bowman Gray, but that was like the first like ever big race I ever saw. And I'm glad like my friend of mine like invited me. And
it's worth going to at least once in person. You have to wear headphones though because it's really loud, or earplugs.
I didn't wear any. I didn't wear anything like that. And
you were naked.
My ears were naked. Yeah. Yeah, my ears
were naked.
Like like my eardrums were naked, so I didn't have earplugs though. What's so funny, yo? Just because I say naked? Naked? Are y'all in preschool? Come on, guys.
He just took his eardrum underwear off.
But I didn't have any earplugs. I wish I kind of did.
He had his eardrums around his ankles.
It can get pretty loud.
But then I realized, hey, like I listened to, like, I thought about the decibel level. I listened to like my music, and I'm like, yeah, it's not too bad. But I wish I did have like some earbuds of some kind. I was tempted to ask somebody like, "Hey, you got earplugs?" But I was like, "Yeah, I'll just endure it."
Well, you don't want to have the situation where you ask someone for earplugs and they give you obviously used earplugs.
Ew.
No, hey, can I have earplugs? What? Can't hear you. Earplugs.
That's disgusting.
Or they get anyway.
No, that is my input for the day. So there you go.
So
I don't know anything else about the rest of the topics, basically.
So a lot of memories of your childhood and the clink of the bats.
The clink of the bats and the smell of cigarette smoke mixed with, B-level nacho cheese and...
B-level? I wonder what A-level is.
Nachos have to be done right. So if you're going to go get concession nachos, you need to go to, like, the baseball parks and get them.
Man, like, most of them, like when you put too much cheese on it, they just... But even if they're top quality, top notch, if you put too much cheese on those bad boys, it's just going to get soggy.
That's part of the deliciousness of nachos. That's the risk you take.
Okay.
Do you have a funny sports memory?
Funny sports memory.
Probably involves me.
Something weird or ironic that I can make fun of.
Oh,
Go ahead and put me in it because I'm an easy target to make fun of because I've given you probably enough material for like 2 lifetimes.
No.
Well, no, 1 lifetime, but in the future it'll probably be 4 lifetimes.
I personally haven't played enough sports for that to be noteworthy. Although I was a photographer for our college paper, and I ended up on the sidelines of the games in an attempt to get a good picture. Someone had warned me a moment prior to stay off of the sidelines next to the players. I was attempting to get a shot of the play, and I failed fantastically, as a play had gone on without me noticing. I was shooting something else off of the end of the field, where the opposing team had hiked the football to their quarterback had passed to their receiver had been tackled by one of the Guilford players smack into where I was standing on the sideline. So I got more or less tackled by a Guilford College football player.
Well, you didn't tell me that. Wow,
yeah.
That's dope.
I was fine. I got smacked in the leg by one of their legs or something. I took a little bit of a tumble, but I was fine.
Describe the tackle. So was this a center mass rapid drive type situation?
Well, as far as I know, the opposing team's receiver had clutched the ball the way they're supposed to. He knew it was going down. He knew it was getting tackled. So he had his back towards me.
He kind of had it wrapped up in his
he had like a little baby.
So did it
a loaf of bread.
So they just bumped you or something when they were going out of bounds?
Well, they bumped is a little bit weak of a word for this. I wasn't totally knocked down, but I was definitely hit. I was not quite a casualty.
So in the leg.
I got knocked. I almost dropped my camera. I almost, I dropped my tripod in the meantime and all that stuff.
How do you feel?
Oh, sorry.
I'm lucky it wasn't. None of that was.
Because if your leg catches in the ground and someone's hitting you from the side,
the unhappy triad.
Your leg is going to be a right angle.
It was not. Like I said, I don't know how I wasn't looking in the direction of the tackle necessarily when this happened. So I know I got bumped, but I wasn't quite sure how.
ACL, MCL, PCL. No. ACL, MCL, and like meniscus, like the unhappy triad.
I was just an idiot for not paying attention to what the coaches had told me.
How do you feel about like you taking more like tackles, like padded tackles than your boyfriend ever has?
Kind of great, actually.
Yeah, so you're more hardcore than me. See?
Yeah, but getting tackled in the leg is not the same thing as getting actually tackled and, clocking my head against the turf.
You took a more dangerous hit than I have.
For all you know, that just means that Darius played, but he scored on every single play.
That's true.
He just was never hit, ever.
What made me a sports fan? Well, for me, I was always close with my dad, like from day one. Me and him were just always there. Like my mom had always, when she worked her job and stuff, she worked swing shifts. So either she would be at home recovering or getting ready to go to sleep, to go to work, or she's already at work, or she's getting off of work at nighttime stuff. So it was kind of variable in terms of seeing her, but consistently my dad was always like there. Like he worked like in the morning, be there in the afternoon. He'd be there most of the time, take me to like my practices, going to my games. He'd be like the loudest person, cheering like for my team and whatnot, and cheering for me and stuff. It was great. I guess it's just that what sports meant to me was that it encapsulates that closeness that me and my dad shared. Like I'll never forget just seeing him yell at the TV because his Rams or his Dodgers weren't doing so good, or his Philadelphia 76ers, well before the process, back when they had Allen Iverson, the answer. And so Dan's got like a little burning question or some burning thought. What's up before you forget it?
Your dad was a Dodgers fan?
Yeah. Why do you think I had that? That's where that Dodgers shirt came from that I rock from time to time. Yeah.
Go Dodgers! Woo.
Dodgers are kicking ass.
Yeah, they are.
I don't.
So are no Dodgers.
Don't tell me. Please make some tonight. But I don't say anything until I don't want you to say anything about them until they make the World Series. Anywho.
I'm just saying they had a stretch of 34 games where they were 30-4.
But how many times have they been kicking butt and then they get eliminated NLCS or NLDS? I get tired of that. But
they gotta go get you, Darvish.
They gotta just go to the World Series and win it.
Anyway, sorry.
But just what brought me into sports was just the valuable time that I spent with my dad. And for those who don't know, you probably don't know, it's a little tough for me to admit and stuff. But like 6 years ago, my dad unfortunately passed away due to liver cancer, and so because of him is why I'm as big as a sports fan as I've ever been, and I am to this day. Seeing how intense he was on yelling at television, or him as intense he was and going to live action games. Whoa! Don't let it be the Rams when they came to the Panthers town, man. It was great. I remember I got mad at him though because he was cheering against the Panthers, and I actually took my fist and actually popped him right on the back. I know I didn't want him to cheer against the Panthers. I was like, whatever. But no, I yelled at the TV like he did. I cheer for my Patriots and my Braves and Chicago Bulls like him. But what sports gave to me is just that unity of just bringing two people together, or bringing people together to enjoy the atmosphere of sports and what it offers. So there we go.
It's really interesting because it's kind of similar for me, actually. I got into it as a way to be closer to my dad and to connect to my dad.
Sports just kind of found me, though.
Because and I think I mentioned this in the first episode that I was homeschooled, but what that kind of practically meant was that I spent, well, not necessarily, because my dad was Coast Guard.
That's right.
For many years. Mm-hmm. So he was never really like deployed really while I was a kid. He was kind of past that point in his career at that point, but you know, he would go to work all day, so I would be at home with my sister and my mom all day. And I remember even as like a kid of 5 and 6 years old feeling like guilty that I was kind of closer to my sister and my mom than my dad, just because of that I spent more time with them. Mm-hmm. And you know, that was the kind of kid that I was, that I already was feeling anxious about things when I was 6. But it'd
be a confusing time, 6 years old.
But I remember watching football on TV with my dad around that time.
Oh my gosh, Monday Night Football, Sunday Night Football when it was on ESPN.
Yeah, the old I don't even think we got ESPN back then, but that was the Drew Bledsoe Patriots, the Ty Law Patriots.
Oh, and those ugly Patriot jerseys that I still love.
The early years of the Flying Elvis head.
Flying Elvis. Bright blue.
And I remember it was the late 90s was when we started watching football together a lot, and we would watch Monday and Sunday Night Football and all that stuff, and we watched the Super Bowl every year. Yeah. And the other thing was the Red Sox. That was kind of another thing that we bonded over, because we watched the Ken Burns baseball documentary, and it's kind of a subplot throughout the documentary about how the Red Sox just can't win the World Series.
Oh, and the Curse of Bambino?
Yeah, the Curse of the Bambino.
Childish Bambino? I couldn't resist.
Bill Lambier's spoonerism is Lil Bambier.
Wow, that sounds like a rapper name.
Lil Bambier. Anyway.
But we digress.
It was, it was a subplot in Ken Burns baseball that the Red Sox can't win the World Series, the 1967 Impossible Dream, and the 1975 World Series, and they just can't do it. And so I started following the Red Sox me and my dad together in 2003.
Oh, was that the magical one?
No. That was Aaron Boone.
Oh.
So
2004 was the magical one, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was the year after. So the Aaron Boone story isn't nearly as funny just because they fucking won the year after that. But it was just really funny because my dad, his defining sports moment of his young adult life, he would have been about my age now when the Bill Buckner thing happened.
For a second, I thought you were gonna say the Buffalo Bills.
I want to circle back to this because at some point, my dad has requested to be a guest on this show, so we're gonna get him on here at some point.
And in the household when I was visiting his place, Bill Buckner was that name was taboo in his household, and that was my first true experience with a true Bostonian fan, for real. I was like, okay, I'm sorry.
You can't bring up the Billy Bucks, but
is that a new currency? You get
Billy Bucks. This is what happens when I try to invent slang. Is it just goes horribly wrong, but no, we follow the Red Sox that season, and then not Bill Buckner. Wow, the Aaron Boone thing happens. And we're watching this game, and I got so upset. And my dad just looked at me and he said, "Dan, I told you the Red Sox were going to break your heart."
So your dad had a father-son teaching moment, son,
I told you.
Life is not fair.
I told you they were going to break your heart.
That long game they had the other night that went to 2 or 3 in the morning, and they were fine until they lost terribly. It was a recent game. It was
they've done that 3 times.
I know. The fact that that's happened multiple times is heartbreaking into itself. But this is what they do. They are terrible, and then all of a sudden they get an upwind. And
that's my sports story. Is that it was to be closer to my dad, and my dad and I still bond a lot over the Patriots and stuff like that. And we've him and I, we started getting NFL Sunday Ticket, and unbelievably spoiled in that, like, my sports fandom has pretty much exactly coincided with Tom Brady's career. And there's no way that I can kind of lay that out there without making it sound like I'm a bandwagon Patriots fan. So,
dude, I grew up with Drew flipping Bledsoe, man. I'm no bandwagon, neither are you.
But that's just how it is. I came of age right at the perfect time, and to be honest, it's sort of like I get annoyed by the bandwagon thing simply because it's sort of like, can you really criticize people for being more engaged when their team is good? I mean, that's just kind of like human nature.
True.
It doesn't make any sense to me because then people just are enjoying themselves. If sports is supposed to be entertaining and people are entertained, that's the whole point.
If you take that logic to its kind of logical extreme, then obviously 76ers fans have to be have been the most engaged they've ever been for the past 4 years instead of, cratering attendance, which is what's actually happened. So, like, are all those 76ers fans bandwagoners and they're only going to watch when the team is good? Can you blame them for that? Also, fuck Sam Hinkie.
No,
So here's the thing. Here's how you tell.
It's my official editorial position that Sam Hinkie fucking sucks. By the way,
But he still made them millions though, and creates a sort of like a renaissance for Philadelphia basketball. So
D keeps asking me, like, what if Sam Hinkie actually hears this podcast and wants to be a guest? And honestly,
I just hope we don't get sued by him, man.
I'm just making fun of him on a podcast. How is, much larger things than us have said much worse things about him.
That's fair.
Like, if anything, you should be pissed at the 76ers for firing him. He created the perfect basketball team creating formula. Why should he have been fired? He should sue the 76ers. He is a genius and everyone else is insane for wanting to watch a decent basketball team.
He got paid, he went home, and he's counting his millions. Anyhow.
Sam Hinkie literally is Apple deciding not to put a headphone jack in the iPhone.
Wow.
Or not putting USB connectors.
Wow.
Not putting USB connectors in the MacBook. That is what Sam Hinkie is. He is literally the Apple board of directors who sat around debating this decision and was like, yeah, no, this is a great idea. Because and we're gonna sell this to all of our fans as innovation rather than just being shitty on purpose.
Wow.
And it fucking worked. And it fucking worked with Sam Hinkie because you have all these 76ers fans who are like,
trust the process. We believe in the process now. Like the Sam Hinkie's like the great prophet Elijah. He's creating a great ball team.
I'm gonna do something really quickly.
He's helping us make A money.
I very quickly, we're gonna really, really digress for a second here, but I want to jump back very quickly to the Prophet Elijah bit because I came up with this idea last week. What if we took that dialogue and changed it so that we auto-replaced the great Prophet Elijah with Sam Hinkie?
Oh no. No, man. You realize we're gonna burn for this, right? we're gonna burn.
And we're gonna replace marriage with basketball team.
Oh no. You're going to. I think you're about going too far on this one, but let's hear it.
I want to use this great opportunity to testify how Sam Hinkie saved my basketball team.
Oh my God, I can't do it already, man. This first sentence. Go on.
I'm from California. I want to use this opportunity to thank Sam Hinkie.
Would it be Philadelphia then? Rewind that.
Okay, I'm from Philadelphia. I want to use this opportunity to thank Sam Hinkie, who really made my life a pleasurable one today. This great man, Sam Hinkie, brought my basketball team back to me after 6 years of breakup in our basketball team. After I had already had 3 lovely draft picks for my basketball team. Oh my God.
This is easily gonna be like the best segment of this. Oh my gosh. don't think we're gonna be able to top this, man.
She told me that mine was a small case and that I shouldn't worry about it at all. So I asked her what was the solution to the 76ers problems, and she gave me Sam Hinkie's phone number and his contact email address, samhinkie@yahoo.com.
The fact is, either, I don't know what's funny. The fact is Sam Hinkie or is him having Yahoo?
I was doubting if Sam Hinkie was the solution.
You and millions of other like Philly fans.
So I contacted Sam Hinkie, and he told me what to do, and I did them all. And he told me to wait for just 2 days, and that my basketball team would come crawling on their knees, asking for forgiveness.
Wow.
So I faithfully did what Sam Hinkie asked me to do, and for sure, immediately after 2 days, I heard a knock on the door. In a great surprise, I saw the 76ers begging on their knees, and I was speechless. I want to say a big thank you to Sam Hinkie, the great prophet. This great man. God damn it.
Keep going. Breathe, man. Breathe. Breathe.
Oh my God, I'm turning red. Sam Hinkie made me understand that there's no problem on earth that has no solution. So please, if you know you have the same problem. Oh God. There aren't really any more references to him, but let's all laugh at.
What other services can Sam Hinkie provide?
Let's see. Let me see if I can basketballize these.
Oh God. Is that a word?
He will help you to be general manager in anything you do.
Okay.
Earn a good money.
good money.
Success in basketball. Shooting problems. Win court case.
The whole Philadelphia basketball team was a court case.
This is literally the greatest thing I've ever done in my life.
We might have to like stop the episode after this because I don't think we're gonna top this for this episode, man. Keep going,
Oh my
man.
God. Want to be in control of your basketball team. Looking for job, which Sam Hinkie currently is. You have been scammed and you need your money back. Oh, the 76ers.
Oh.
You have been working without promotion.
Whoa.
You have any symptoms of sickness that is uncured. Pregnancy problems with babies. Yeah, we did this last time. You can email or any problem that is similar. I will advise you to come straight to Sam Hinkie. You can email samhinkie@yahoo.com. Thanks, ... Ladies and gentlemen.
Look what you've done. You realize what you've done? I wouldn't be surprised if you broke the internet. You broke the internet with Sam Hinkie. Or no, at least you don't broke this podcast with Sam Hinkie.
This podcast is broken.
Yo, for now on, can we just like instead of having a great prophet Jaja, for now on, like if we refer to any great prophet, darn, great prophet is Sam Hinkie.
What I love is since I'm reading this aloud, it doesn't necessarily have to be prophet, Prophet. It could be the great prophet as in Profit.
Oh, I see what you did there.
Wow.
A net financial gain for our great basketball team.
Wow. Man. I didn't think you could make that story any better or funnier, but I stand corrected, man. Like my cheeks are still throbbing from laughing so much. And then Kacey, you didn't see on the video, but Kacey had her camera phone just filming us like at the tail end of it, just laughing uncontrollably. Like this has to be like the single greatest thing that either of us has done, man. So kudos to you, man.
For 2 years, I felt my life was over, and my rookies thought they would never see the general manager again.
Whoa! Are you just gonna like rewrite that and just make it even better?
I tried to be strong just for the rookies, but I could not control the pains that torments my heart.
All those losses.
My heart was filled with sorrows and pains because I was really in love with Sam Hinkie.
Sam Hinkie's gonna kill us, man.
Oh my fucking god! I've got to stop. Oh, that was worth it. Give me a high five, buddy. That was gold. It took us an hour and a half to get there, but that was gold.
Oh my god. The question is, do we call it a podcast? Like, or do we keep going? We're gonna retire on top for the night, like Ray Lewis and Peyton Manning with their like last Super Bowl runs.
There is literally no way that we could ever possibly top this.
Dude.
I think this is the last episode. I would like to thank all of you for tuning in. I would like to thank Kacey for being our guest on this episode.
You're so welcome.
Also, shout out to our friend Bree, who's like stationed in Japan. Thanks for checking out our first episode of our podcast and also commenting on there. Really appreciate your support. We miss you. We want you to be back in the States at some point, but we really appreciate the support, and we're trying to bring some more episodes so that way you can be entertained, especially after this episode as soon as it gets processed. So we love you, and best of luck to you where you stay, you being stationed, and hope to see you soon.
You do know what this means too, right?
What's it mean?
After all the jokes about us having 2 listeners, we are confirmed. We have 1 listener. We have an audience of 1.
Well, we have Kacey. She sat through this one. So
that's true.
So there's our 2. There's our 2. So we've reached status quo.
Thank you. Thank you very much from the bottom of my heart to our 2 listeners for tuning in.
And for our special guests, step to the mic and tell us where they can reach us in terms of our email.
You may reach Dan and at dvdcastpod@gmail.com. That is dvdcastpod@gmail.com.
Can you say Dan and D? Because I think you just uncovered my identity. Oh no!
I ruined everything.
We'll clip it.
You can reach Dan and D at dvdcastpod@gmail.com. That is Dan and D at dvdcastpod@gmail.com.
On that note,
thank you all for listening. In the words of Lane Staley, I wish I could just hug you all, but I'm not going to.
Love one another. Stay true to yourself, your sports, and your life.
Don't be a fucking asshole. None of this is ever making it onto the internet.